Hi, I'm James Thompson. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. I'm told I speak real softly. I'm James Thompson. I work for Behavioral Health Services, as does Pam. And it was about 4 years ago, last month, they started asking for volunteers, and Pam and I were two of the original volunteers. And I want to go over too much of what Pam said. The manualized treatment in the beginning seemed to be a steep learning curve. But like Pam said, what it does, it applies a specific treatment for each and every client who comes through the treatment. So they all get the same access to the different variations on CBT. How many people in here have worked with people with substance abuse concerns? I expect to see a whole lot more hands than that, actually. Substance abuse has such a huge impact on society in general. Those of you who have worked with them know that the rates of depression are much higher among somebody who's drinking or using. And oftentimes they're coping with the depression or other life circumstances by having a drink or two or four or five or something else outside those lines. And like this man was saying earlier, even though it doesn't look like the people drinking too much have depression, take their drink away and see what happens. Then you have depression jumping off. So a lot of the clients we worked with, all of them came out of residential facilities and were sent for various reasons by different agencies to battle substance abuse. While they were there was enough symptoms of depression that they qualified for the study, and that's what got them involved in the BRIGHT project. And I don't know if Jeannie mentioned it. Any other type of psychological disorder, we didn't work with them. It was only depression and substance abuse. The clients who went through the program, some came in bright-eyed and bushy-tailed every day, and there were those clients who came in who would not raise their eyes up and even look at you. They did not laugh, they did not speak. And the treatment we did was 8 weeks long, 2 sessions per week, and I cannot think of a single case where at the end of it, the person wasn't an open participating group, actively communicating, and being a part of something bigger than just themselves. The group itself, like Jeannie said, working with in group sessions, it normalizes what's going on. So instead of the person coming in there thinking, I'm the only one who feels this way, they realize that other people feel this way too. And having the same experience for each client going through the sessions helps them. Pam talked a little bit about thoughts and the activities. There were 2 other modules we worked with on people interactions and how dealing with grief and loss, disagreements you have with other people, conflicts, and different ways of dealing with conflict so one other one. Role disagreements, and role changes. The changes that are going on in your life, what are more effective ways of dealing with that? That and looking at how substance abuse has impacted their life gave them a set of tools that are invaluable. And Pam mentioned it too. The client becomes empowered because they believe that they're their own therapist. That they have greater insight into their own thoughts and behaviors and how that affects their mood, because they're the final ones who have feedback on what works and doesn't work. If Pam thinks one thought and it makes her feel better, and I have the same thought and it makes me feel worse, I can't tell that person, well, you should think that way. It's not about us telling them what to think or what to do. It's about them discovering it on their own. And in that way, they leave out of there empowered. One client I want to talk about in particular, when he first came in, this was in the very first few groups that we had actually done, he wasn't laughing, and he did not have a lot to say. And he finished with, we only had 4 people in the first group. I run into this man, it seems like every half year, somewhere in Los Angeles. And last time I saw him was in Pasadena not too long ago. And he was laughing and still talking CBT lingo, because it was with me that he was laughing with. But he said it made a big difference in his life. The facility I work in is kind of centrally located, the beautiful city of Gardena, and I see a lot of former clients in the area, in the neighborhoods there. And my understanding is none of them have been rearrested. Almost all of them, as far as I know, are not drinking and not using. And that is being a powerful point towards that CBT is an effective therapy. And the nice thing about it, too, 8 weeks is a very brief treatment to empower clients with. I don't know if we should take any questions or not, because I know you still have presenters.
I mean, you already answered or mentioned this, but the part that I'm having the hardest time believing is the long-lasting benefit. I can imagine getting really a big rush upon graduating or having your ceremony, and it going on for a little while. But please tell me more about what do you think about the long-term effectiveness of this?
I think a lot of it has to do with the countless number of aha moments that clients get while they're participating in the group. For instance, a person will have that thought, I'm just a terrible parent. I just never have done anything right with my kids. And they'll write it out and they'll look at it, and other people will talk about the thought, and they'll find out, well, it is pretty extreme. Is there nothing you've ever done right? Anything you've never done right with your kids? Are you leaving out information? And as soon as I start framing it in a different way, a lot of times I have an aha moment. And that emotional impact, I think, sticks with them longer. A doctor could probably tell you why a whole lot better than I could.
I think just the fact that CBT is so simplistic, and the client realizes that they have the power and the tools that they need. Once they realize the tools, they can use the tools at any time. And the tools are so simple to use that it's almost hard to forget them. When you find yourself, no one likes to feel down and depressed. And if they find that when they learn a tool that can prevent them feeling that way by just a simple checking your thought, changing it, or getting out and doing something even when you don't feel like it, or interacting with people who can help bring your mood up, it's so simple that it's almost easy to continue to do it.
It's made a lot of difference for a lot of clients. I think just for that reason, that it empowers the client. One thing we don't talk about, that we never discuss in CBT, we agree with clients that their situation in life kind of sucks right now. It's bad right now. But if your thinking and your behaviors is adding to your suffering, then what are you going to do about that? Why add to your own suffering? Life is hard enough.
And one thing we do tell them, that CBT is not a cure-all. It's not going to say that you'll never get depressed again. But what it does is it teaches you how not to remain depressed, how to prevent the depression length, how long you stay depressed, or how often you get depressed. You will, some people will get depressed again, but now you have tools to counteract that depression.
It's nice to see this many people interested in CBT.
Can you guys talk a little bit more about your training experience and what it's been like for you to implement at your agency?
Training. Well, I think we were very, very fortunate in that we worked closely with doctors from Rand and Pepperdine, and we spent I think it was a 2-day training, and then we did a set of practice groups where we got almost immediate feedback. After that, we started facilitating the groups, and we met with clinical psychiatrists and psychologists once a week for 2 hours and discussed what was going on in each group, taping each session, going over that. Towards the end, we no longer listened to the tape sessions, because as our clinical skills developed, we were able to problem solve that much faster. And so we looked more at the case conceptualizations, looking at what are the core schemas going on inside this person that are giving rise to the thoughts they're having. And it turned out to be so rewarding for me and Pam, because it got us down to, I want to say, the nitty-gritty of what is this person really dealing with. Because we deal with the symptoms that a person comes in with, all of us here. And in some ways, the CBT gives the client the tools to get past just dealing with the symptoms and get down to core conditions and concerns. But the training was extensive and worth every minute we put into it.
Took a lot of time, out of our regular schedule, but it was worth it.